hello again. Uh, I will talk today about centralized access to public services in Lithuania, but let me start this presentation and take you to the past a little bit. Let's talk about a very, very important life event of a human being, and probably the most important life event for the person is when the child is born, right? So let's just imagine 32 probably years ago, the child was born. I will not talk about the conditions in Lithuania because they were terrible. I was also born in 1983. But I would like to talk about the process to register a baby when he is born, he or she is born. And I will try to illustrate back then, 30-something years ago, what parents had to do in order to register a baby, in order to declare a place of residence for him or her. And I just draw a Google map, and my best calculation is that 32 years ago, for example, my parents probably had to waste 6, 7, or 8 hours just to travel from one to another institution in order to do this paperwork. So the world is changing. Let's come back to the future. And it's been more than 30 years. The world has changed. Just to illustrate this change, I would like to show you some very interesting figures, how this technological change is accelerating. And just to compare it, in 1990, it took 13 years to map the human genome, and the cost of it was $3 billion. So we have today, and it takes only 3 hours, and it costs something like $1,000 to map the whole human genome. So can you imagine how powerful today's computers are, and how it makes easier to get all the data thanks to those faster computers and access to data. Another very interesting slide that I found and I would like to share with you is that not only the change is accelerating, but we, society, the population, citizens, entrepreneurs, we are adopting it very, very fast. Just to compare and to show you and to illustrate this, it took 38 years to reach first 50 million listeners of the radio. 38 years. Next step, we have TV. It took it took 13 years. And then we have something like iPod. It took 4 years to reach 50 million. Then we have internet. It's 3 years, and I'm not talking about Facebook and Twitter. It took a year to reach 50 million users. So we see this adoption is also accelerating at a very high speed. In 1876, there was a first phone call made. It was something. It was really something, a great breakthrough. And I showed you how this adoption is accelerating, but the time between major breakthroughs are becoming shorter. And after this first phone call, it took 115 years to create a first website. And after the website, it took only 16 years for the first iPhone. So we see the first gap was 115 years, and the second is only 16 years. So today, we have almost 40% of internet users globally. Comparing to 20 years ago, it was only less than 1%. And when we talk about mobile phones, we have 73% in the world population using and having mobile phones since 1995, when it was only 1%. So, we talked about 30 years ago, the kids were born, the kids are still born today, nothing has changed here. This thing is doing the same way, right? So, but my question is, how long will we have to wait till the birth of a child will look like this? So, well, we are such a big users and we really adopt those technologies so fast that I don't know, maybe after 20 or another 30 years, the birth of a child will look like this. Well, just coming back to this topic that today I'm presenting. 30 years ago, I showed you how much time the parents had to waste in order to do all those paperwork. So today, we have a different situation. We have a centralized access to e-services in Lithuania. So all we need to do, we need to go to the e-government portal and choose the live event that we want to, to register and to do the paperwork for it. So I wanted to make a simple calculation and to compare this time 30 years ago and today, and just a simple math. In 2014, in Lithuania, more than 30,000 babies were born. So I took 6 hours wasted then, 30 years ago, and now, and we have totally 22,000 days wasted then versus not less than 2,000 days now. So I just wanted to show you that in these 30 years, a lot has changed, and we really can save time, and we can do other stuff instead of doing the paperwork and visiting certain institutions.
Aušrinė Magacynė was born in Lithuania's capital, Vilnius, 2 months ago. And like all new parents, her mother and father want to spend every waking moment with her. That's relatively easy in Lithuania. They can simply register their newborn online.
Without e-government, I would have had to spend days at the registry office. Now I finished everything in 15 minutes.
We could devote our entire attention to the baby. Nobody had to go to the registry. The three of us could stay together.
23 years ago, Lithuania declared its independence from the Soviet Union. Since then, the Baltic country has become one of the global leaders in telecom infrastructure. The country's fast and extensive internet has given it an important economic edge over its neighbors. The Magacynė family, at least, are well versed in Lithuania's wide-ranging e-government services. Their next task will most likely be to register their daughter for kindergarten. Online, of course.
Why I'm talking about such services, these integrated, innovative services are presented not only in the region, but also in Europe as a best practices, as success stories that Lithuania has created in the recent years. So how it was created, where are those e-services, and how it works in Lithuania? We have a platform in Lithuania. It states in, I will try to say this once, and I will not say this name again because it's too hard to pronounce. States Information Resources Interoperability Platform. So I will say CIRIP from now on. So it is also considered as one of the best practices in Europe, how e-services and how the data should be collected, how these services should be designed, and it offers various tools for it. Just to show you what was the situation before CIRIP, even if some services, some public services were electronized and digitalized, for the customer it was still a problem because he had to visit different institutions in order to get a license, get a permit, in order to establish a company, and so on and so on. So today this platform, CIRIP, is as a core, as a highway through which, through web services and integrations, different institutions can communicate, can exchange data, and so on. CIRIP offers the identification and authentication for cross-border users. It is possible to do the payment for the services online. It's not necessary to go to the bank anymore. I mentioned already data exchange among public authorities is also very, very important, and it really helps to reduce the administrative burden, for example, for the businesses and entrepreneurs in Lithuania. Also, CIRIP offers the availability and the ability to monitor, audit, and administrate these services on that platform in one place. Now, CIRIP platform connects more than 190 government institutions, and the number of visitors is really growing every year. So from 2008, CIRIP has 2 million unique visitors. Lithuania was one of those countries that had the opportunity to use the European structural funding. And this period of time from 2007 till 2013 was the period that Lithuania really was focusing on public administrative services for citizens, for businesses, and the main focus was to electronize, to transfer them to electronic medium. So just to show you what spheres were in the focus of investment during this period of time, so e-health, democracy services, e-culture, e-learning, and of course administrative e-services. Not forgetting the services for businesses, Lithuania created and transferred a lot of them to electronic medium, such as services for employers, registration of a new company, services for insurers, and services related to permits and licensing. So overall, we have more than 500 services transferred online, and of course not forgetting the development of the registers, information systems, and technical infrastructure developments. Well, we're not standing in one place. We really have big targets for the future, and at the moment, nevertheless, Lithuania is really scoring very high in terms of broadband internet connection. But as we see, the figure shows that Lithuanian citizen really, how to say, he spends time in the internet not using the administrative services. Only 41% today uses the administrative services. So our target for the future is to reach 60 by 2020. It is crucial to have good relations with public institutions, public authorities, and such projects, public administrative service electronization would be impossible without the collaboration of public institutions. So just talking about services for businesses, more than 100 state and local institutions were really collaborating with in these projects, while a lot of services were transferred online. So we as Enterprise Lithuania, as Ministry of Economy, Ministry of Transportation, and the government of Lithuania, were really very thankful for those institutions that were contributing and doing a very big job, because without them it would be impossible to do such things as were done. So just to emphasize the services for businesses, in last period, over 200 public administrative services were transferred online for businesses. Just to show you the example, what are those services, and just permit to organize an event, license to engage a retail trade for tobacco products. So today, entrepreneur doesn't need to leave his computer. He doesn't have to visit the institutions in order to get such licenses, and many more. Well, this period of time that I was telling you about is over, and we're looking ahead. We, as Lithuania, we're really very happy and lucky that we will still have a possibility to use the European structural funding for the next period till 2020. But now we have to understand that it's not enough just to electronize the service. Now we have to put the main focus on the quality, and now we have to think how we should integrate the services. As I was presenting you with the service orientated to life event, the birth of a child. So we will have to manage, we will have to find the solutions how to integrate those services that are already online, to put them into innovative, integrated services oriented to life events. So as one of the most important and one of the most of the biggest challenges in the future for us, for Lithuania, is another integrated electronic service, starting business. I started my presentation with the birth of a child, because from the citizen's point of view, probably the most important life event is the birth of a child. But from the entrepreneur's point of view, we could say that the most important life event is the birth of his company. So we will really focus on that, and of course, we will integrate the services. We will reuse the services that are already created. We will reuse the CIRIP platform, that is a very good platform to create and design electronic solutions. And I hope that by the 2020 we will have another integrated service, starting business. So, as I said, we're looking ahead, and the services that we are creating, they have to be oriented to life events. They have to be completed without interruptions. They have to be new generation e-services. They have to be innovative. And I really hope that from the experience that we have from this first period of funding from European funds, we will also have such a good collaboration with institutions, and we will do a really great job creating another unique live event-oriented e-service. So, ačiū, thank you very much. If you have any questions, you can ask now, or we can discuss later. I will be here. So, thank you very much.
My name is Romas Požėra from Center of Registers. So, a few questions. First of all, we know that, as you presented, 41% of Lithuanian citizens are using e-services. Have you any data or statistics about the share of citizens using single point of access, or they are entering the service like searching in Google or Bingo, or just going directly to institutions. And the second question is about the approach which was presented by CEO of Estonia, that maybe the centralized systems, from point of view of arranging services, it's not the best solutions. So your opinion about this, thank you.
Thank you. I will start from the second question because I had a chance to discuss a little bit with the representative from Estonia. Well, I don't know actually. I know one thing, that we have to look from the different perspective, because what was the problem until probably, I don't know, 2000 and probably I could say 2010 in Lithuania. The problem was that different institutions wanted to do everything for themselves. They wanted to develop their information systems. They wanted to create their electronic services for themselves, but not for the customer. So now we have the very good chance to change something. I don't know if which opinion is right, Estonia's or Lithuania's, which way is right. But I think that we need to start thinking that entrepreneur or the citizen, he should do something more, not only thinking what procedures do I need to fulfill, what papers do I need to fill. He just needs to know what result he wants to achieve. If he knows that he has a child that was born, he doesn't need to think that he needs to first to declare the place of residence, then second to register the name, third whatever. He needs to click the button and everything is there for him. He shouldn't look for the information should come to him. So I don't know if we are right or Estonia is right. Of course, we should learn from Estonia, and I think that we are doing that. The first step was centralizing everything, where I wouldn't say that was a bad decision, because putting all the information online, all the services online, it cannot be a bad decision. Coming back to the figures that you were asking to, I'm not sure that I can give you the numbers right now, but we can discuss maybe later on if I answered your question. Okay. So thank you. Thank you.